What do you think the key experiences that you had, at Keeper Park, Burleigh Bears, growing up, what do you think those key experiences that you had that made you want to go down the path of being a rugby league player, but then also, like you said, about helping and doing things outside of footy to help other people?
Yeah, I suppose looking back a long time ago now.
It's getting on, brother.
Yeah, I'm getting on. I'm on the decline. I've hit 30, so on the decline. Yeah, thinking back to my time at Keeper and what we did. There was a rule that if you weren't good at school or you were getting in trouble and that, you weren't allowed to play.
Yeah.
So that sort of teach me discipline, first and foremost. The trainings that we did, I remember being at school at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
in the gym, go
As
have a
a
shower.
15, 16-year-old.
As a 15, 16-year-old, have a shower at, 6, put my school clothes on, go to class, and then train.
Yeah.
That was part of our curricula. That rugby league was one of our subjects, which was nice and handy. So I think the keeper part taught me discipline, and I suppose what's the word? It kept me accountable and humble as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're a rat bag, you were picked up and spat out essentially. I look back now, it was probably wasn't obviously up there with the NRL, but the professionalism when we were at the school was actually, I think back now, and it kept me accountable. And at Burleigh, look, obviously club level, I had a lot of fun with my mates, and that's where you look back and when footy was fun and you enjoy that so much. So that probably taught me the love for the game, and how lucky I was to be able to play with my mates week in, week out, and things like that. And then obviously a week out of high school, I moved to Brisbane, as you did. It's a pretty quick transition where you've got to go from living at home to, as a 17-year-old, moving out with a few boys in the house.
What do you think the biggest shock was when you moved out?
Cleaning up.
Cooking food.
Cooking food. Although, remember you used to get the
vouchers?
Yeah, the vouchers to the club. So that was pretty handy.
Just for those who are listening, there's a Broncos house that Jai lived in 2 years before I lived in the exact same one. But they would give us these $40 food vouchers for the Broncos Leagues Club.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did you have unlimited? Because we only got 3 or 4 a week.
Nah, we didn't have unlimited, but we had more than that.
We had but I remember that was a godsend because we'd finish training at maybe 6, 7.
Yeah, it was
and
late,
20s,
hey, yeah.
And then roll into the Leagues Club and just have a burger, chips, maybe a little milkshake. I don't know.
The milkshake, how good were they?
Yeah.
So that was a big eye opener. I'm moving out of home at 17 with 3 other boys, mind you, and
because you had Jaden Barrel.
No. So I had Ash Taylor.
Yeah.
Duncan, Payoa, and Cade Maloney.
Gotcha.
So pretty road crew. One from Townsville, one from Toowoomba, one from Rocky, and then one from the Goldie, which obviously isn't too far away.
Yeah.
That sort of taught me. What did that teach me? One, to never live with other teammates again.
Yeah. Make that
how
mistake.
messy that joint was.
Yeah.
And I suppose the whole aspect of moving out of home and having to do everything by yourself. Pay the bills, clean up after yourself, wash your clothes, hang them out, all of that.
Yeah.
So it taught me a little bit about life, and then, so.
Looking back then when you first get in there, I know you don't talk about it often, but you're doing your plumbing apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And what I think is one of the coolest parts of your story in the early days is that you would actually go work as a plumber during the day, and then you went and backed up for NRL on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Tell me
Legit.
why keep going through that process if you're signed as an NRL player? Why still go through and do that?
Well, the boss that I had at the time was so good to me, and I didn't want to let him down. And that was my nature as well. You know, when someone's, it's like, you know, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So, yeah, there was times I was getting up at 6 a.m. on game day, going to the Brisbane casino, doing lead work there and working until about midday. I'd go home, have a nap, you know, get up, have whatever I need to eat and drink and whatnot, drive to the game and play NRL that night. So I think for me, it was, I had myself into a routine and it worked for me. It's not like I was playing big minutes or anything at that stage of my career. I was only playing, you know, 15, 20 minutes at a time. So I knew I had, you know, plenty of time before I knew I needed to perform.
Yeah.
So it was no issue for me. I didn't want to let my boss down, and it was no issues at all.
Being in that system at the Bronx, like we all know, like I think the year before you went into the full-time system, I think they like just played a grand final. Like it was a we had like they had a killer side, right? What do you think the best traits are for people that want to get into professional sport, not just in the NRL, but as a whole? Like, what do you think the best traits are that helped you or that you noticed going through that system? And then even now being like a 11+ year player, what do you reckon the best traits are?
I think discipline. You got to be so disciplined.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love a good time as much as anyone, but I do pick and choose my moments to do that. You know, especially with life changing so much over the last 12 months. Discipline is number one. Accountability too. You know, always knowing when to take accountability and when things get hard to own. You know, when things get hard to, I suppose, not whinge about it, but take it on. It's so hard, as you know, what we do as NRL players, and especially this time of year, it's starting to get to that time of year where you're over preseason. All you want to do is start playing. And, it's just turning up to training each day. And Wayne speaks about, which I love, which I think I love most, is, you know, if you do your best every day, it'll be, you know, if you do your best every day, it'll be amazing what you can achieve. And that really sits home with me. You know, every day I wake up, I'm like, all right, I haven't had the best sleep. I'm not feeling well, but, you know, I know I've got a job to do, and I keep myself accountable with my performances, my training habits and things like that. So if there's three things that, you know, I think about being a professional athlete, one, it's, as I said, being able to be accountable, be disciplined, and doing your best every day.
Dude, I love that. Doing your best every day. It's kind of like it's kind of like the consistency piece. Like, like people talk about like showing up every day, and then once you do it for, you know, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. In your case, probably like when you start playing at footy, probably like you're 5 years old.
Yeah, 4 years old.
So dude,
4 years old.
20+ years, brother. Coming up on 25. So I think the ability to be able to do that for such a long period of time, that's when you start to see the success. Like there's no, I don't think there's any luck that comes with playing in the NRL as a 20-year-old, 21-year-old. I think that takes time, and I love the bit about showing up every day. I think that's probably a huge piece.
Yeah. And it can be hard.
Yeah.
It can be so hard to turn up every day, be able to perform, being able to, you know, as you know, it's a physical sport. Mentally it's draining.
Dude.
Physically it's draining, and it gets hard. Like, don't get me wrong. And I love what I do. I'm not complaining about it. I love what I do every day, but I have my battles with it. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't. So look, it is hard, but waking up every day and doing your best, and as Wayne says, it'll be amazing what you can achieve. And you don't have to do anyone else's best, but all you have to do is your best.
Mate, you were talking about accountability and discipline and all the things, all the traits that you think is what takes to get to a professional level or even just being a high performer. What do you think's been a couple of the biggest sacrifices that you've had to make over the last 10, 15 years to be where you are now?
I didn't touch alcohol until I was probably close to my 18th birthday. I'm not saying that that was a big sacrifice. It was normal for me at the time, but If there was any sacrifices that I've had that I think back to, one is probably my sister's wedding. Had to miss that.
Yeah.
That was probably a big one. She was filthy
Dude,
too.
I remember that because she did it up north, yeah.
Yeah. And we were in Perth that week.
Yes.
And the wedding was on the Saturday, and we were playing the Saturday. And I was genuinely still in doubt.
Yeah.
To play with my ankle at the time. And I remember her going, "Are you coming to the wedding?" And I was like, "Look, I was in Perth too,
Man.
but if I wasn't going to play, the club was going to fly me back to Early, and I was going to go to the wedding." But I ended up getting cleared. My ankle was pretty sweet. And then I sent her a message, and she was off me,
What'd
bro.
she say?
Oh.
Man, I know.
Can I swear on here?
Yeah, you can swear on here.
You're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
The rest of it, like, it's just a footy game. And
Yeah.
look, I understand that part. I think back and I'm like, I should have went to the wedding. But, like, we don't live a normal life. We get paid good money to do what we do. There is sacrifices along the way that we just have to put up with. And, you know, that was probably one that I think was pretty harsh. Another one, and then again, like, don't get me wrong, but the birth of my child, Isla, mate, we had her on the Tuesday, and then 2 days later, I was on a plane to go to Perth, play, and then come back on the red-eye flight at midnight.
Jeez.
You know, to come back and see my daughter and my missus as well.
Was it hard to leave?
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. It was one of those things where I had to explain my missus being Canadian. She doesn't really understand rugby league and the NRL, so I had to explain to her. I was like, look, I don't live a normal life. I have a job that consists of, you know, having to make tough decisions, and that was one of them. I didn't really want to leave, but I did say to her I had to, and she come to terms with it. She wasn't upset. She wasn't anything, but I had my child or had Isla, and then 2 days later, mate, I was on a plane. I was out.
Mate.
Left her in hospital pretty much by herself. We don't, you know, have, she doesn't have her family around because they're still in Canada. And don't get me wrong, we do have help down there with family and friends. So, I had to leave 2 days later and come back and then help out as much as I could, even though, I suppose you get to know that when you have kids, it can be pretty hard at that point in time.
That is that's so gnarly to think, because I think about that. I look back and I look at the guys who had kids while we were playing, and then, you know, due date they might be like ready to go, but then every second week you're on a flight and you got to be in Sydney or Melbourne or even New Zealand overseas. Like, fuck, that would be really hard. Like, imagine if you missed your child's birth.
Yeah, well, I knew the club was really good with that. Like, I would never miss the birth or I would never miss the birth.
Yeah.
So the plan was, if she hadn't come by Thursday, I wasn't going. Full stop.
Yeah.
But she came on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then, mind you, the whole labour process, the whole shenanigans, I guess you could call it, was, mate. We'll get to it in depth a bit more, but how do I explain it? Like, mate, when it was on, it was on.
What do you mean?
Like the whole. So her waters broke at 10:30 at night on the Monday. She's like, "Oh, I think my water broke," and it hit me hard. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Here we go.
Whoa, I was rattled. Go to the hospital, and she was at in early stages of labour, and they said, "Look, you can stay here if you want, or you can go home and then come back. You know, when you start feeling contractions about 2 minutes apart or whatever." So Marina wanted to go home. We went home, chilling there, and she goes, I don't know how long we're there for, probably till 1, 2 a.m. She goes, nah, let's go back. I'm in so much pain.
Yeah.
And that's when it started to hit me. And I'm thinking, oh, this baby's going to come soon.
Yeah.
So then they the doctor did like a bit of a, check the baby out, see how far dilated and things like that. And they had to induce her.
Yeah.
Because there was like a fluid bubble on Isla's head.
Sure.
That didn't fully burst. So had to induce her. And then the whole time leading up to when she started to push, it was like, I reckon, 8 o'clock that night. So she's in labour from 10:30 all the way to pretty much 8 o'clock the next night.
Man.
24 hours, nearly 24 hours of labour, but then the whole pushing process. So she had the epidural. She was pushing, and it was all sweet.
Yeah.
No pain, nothing. But then it started to get to the pointy end.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, bro. When she just started screaming, and I'm going, what
do you do in that time? Do you just got to be there, like just hold her hand, or like what do you do in that situation?
Well, she started to push, and it started to get to the pointy end where I could see Isla's head right there. Breen is screaming. I'm crying. I look at the doc, and I'm just like looking at him playing tug of war with my child's head. And then she eventually come out, and I just started bawling my eyes out.
Why?
Oh, it was the greatest moment I've ever had in my whole life. Hey, I know it was fairly traumatic, but once she come out and I saw her, it was the greatest experience, the most precious little thing that you and your partner create, and she comes out and you're like, holy fuck, that is my child.
Wow.
Like, I was just in awe. I can get it up. I've got a photo of literally 7 minutes after she was born, and the pediatrician, and mind you, they're rough as guts, a pediatrician, had her by the arm, walked over, put her on the scales, come back on one arm. He goes, all right, you want to try and take a selfie with her?
Man.
I'll show you the selfie I tried to take with her 7 minutes after she was born. And mind you, so after she come out, after she was born, 7 minutes. So she was born at 9:22. This was at 9:29.
Dude.
You show it to the camera if you want, but it was...
Oh, man, that's so beautiful, bro. That is so...
Literally...
Dude, you look... I've got goosebumps. I reckon I've never seen you like that before, man.
Never, ever. And then, so what happened after that is like, I was just in shock.
Yeah.
Complete and utter shock. I dragged a chair. So, Brina was with Isla on the bed, and I was hugging her, giving her a kiss.
Yeah.
And then I was just completely rattled, the whole process. And they do not teach you about it.
Yeah.
And mind you, I suppose it was a bit traumatic, but anyway, I dragged a chair over into the corner, sat in the corner of the room for an hour, I reckon, just going,
Oh, man.
crying.
Wow, bro.
And Brenda was like, are you all right? And mind you, she was drugged up.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there just bawling my eyes out while she's gone through,
Man.
while she's gone through hell. And, the rest is history. Isla was born, and now I'm trying to juggle dad life and work life and relationship life.
It's crazy, like, because people talk about it. Like, people talk about how when, like, you have a kid or when you have your first kid and how it, like, just changes you, right?
Yeah.
What has been the biggest difference for you, like, Jai back in, back in the day?
Loose Jai.
Loose Jai. Yeah, loose Jai. Jai back when he was, like, early 20s versus Jai now that's a dad and has had that, beautiful experience. What's changed? What do you think the biggest change has been?
I'd probably say heaps, but a lot of other people wouldn't. But to be honest, I think it's my purpose in life has changed so much. I've got a beautiful little daughter, a beautiful little family with my partner, and I get to wake up every morning and see her smile. And coming here before, like, from my mates, I was coming here and gave it to my partner, and she just started bawling her eyes out. And her first word, and it's her only word at the moment, is dad, which burns my missus.
Yeah.
But we're in bed this morning, and she like stands up and she just looks at me and goes, "Dad, Dad, Dad." And mind you, I was a bit cranky because I was tired. But then I think back and I'm like, it's such a beautiful moment. It melts my heart. Like,
Man.
I suppose I can be a bit of an emotional person, but I'm extra emotional with my daughter.
Yeah.
So much more. But I think just the whole parental trying to be a parent every day, and you don't know if you're doing it wrong, you don't know if you're doing it right. It's the unknown. But I'm loving every moment of it. And what's changed me, honestly, it just being able to have to care for this little one, that having to look after them every day and seeing them grow up and turn into their own little person. She's starting to get her own personality, and she's very cheeky. So whether that's a mum or a dad, you be
For those who know you,
make
bro.
the decision. So she's good fun at the moment. I'm loving every moment.
What do you think's been the biggest struggle?
Sleep.
Yep.
Saying to you before, they don't teach two things: the whole labour process and sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a real thing. We at the start had it pretty hard. Don't get me wrong, I love being a dad. It's the greatest job in the world, but it has its challenges and it's hard. It's hard. Don't get me wrong, she was a horrible ball sleeper.
Yeah.
How do I explain it, mate? We would put her to bed and then she would just scream for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, there was a reason, but
And you start thinking like, have they been fed? Like, are they slept? Like, try and tick all the boxes, right?
Legit, and trying to figure out what was wrong with her. She was waking like 8 to 10 times a night.
Man.
To the point where me and my missus were only getting, I reckon, a couple of hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing. Don't get me wrong, now she's okay. She wakes once a night, but at the start, we really, really struggled. Big time. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with talking about it. And I'm not going to say being a parent, it's a perfect world. It's easy. It's fucking hard, bro.
Yeah. I reckon that would be like one of the hardest things. Like, it's got to be. And even for you, because like everyone that's a dad or a mum, like, they have the lack of sleep and then have to go to work. But I imagine, tell me how you've navigated the process of getting like 2-3 hours of sleep, right? But then having to go into training or worse, having to play a game on a couple hours sleep. Like, how do you navigate that? What works? What doesn't work?
So I was lucky in the sense that night before a game, I was in the spare room.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I did still hear her at night. And how did I juggle it? I just had to.
You have to.
It's like anything.
Yeah.
It's like what I was saying before. You just got to get up and turn up.
Yeah.
Don't whinge about it. Just get up and go.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I was one tired man, and I'm the worst morning person as it is.
I know, bro.
And the boys would say down there, like, I would come in looking like shit.
Yeah.
Miserable.
Yeah.
But I knew I had a job to do. I know what to do. I know how to do it. I just had to put up with it. I honestly just had to put up with it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel sorry for myself many times. But I just got on with it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You just got to put up with it. If you get a good sleeper, unreal.
Yeah.
When you do have a bad sleeper, so what? You just got to let it be.
Did you always want to be a dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always have. And to be honest, I thought I would have had kids well before now, yeah. But obviously, over time, things change, and I'm glad I would never change anything for the world, because I had a lot of growing up to do when I was mid-20s, and I think back now, it's definitely changed my aspects on life.
Do you reckon it's made you more resilient? Because I imagine, like, when people think of like footy players, you probably, like, one of the words that come to mind is probably like resilient.
Yeah.
Like, you talked about like showing up every day, but then I think like physical resilience, and then like what you're talking around about like emotional resilience.
Yeah.
I reckon there's got to be something. There's
Yeah,
got to
you
be
do for
something
sure.
in that.
Yeah, 100%. You do for sure. And as I said, it is hard.
Yeah.
But you have a duty to do, a duty of care to be a good dad, be a good partner, and go to work and do your job properly. So definitely taught me a lot. But as I said, mate, I'm loving every moment of it.
Yeah. Any more on the way? Or any thoughts about having any more?
Yeah.
Conversation for later.
Nah. Well, we're getting married at the end of the year in October. And then we did say we'll start trying, I don't know, maybe a couple months after that. But I think we're both one more and done.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, what's his, little boy and whatnot, but I think if I get another girl, I'm done, bro.
Man.
Unless, I suppose what'll help is if this one is a good sleeper or the next one.
Sure.
Touch wood.
Touch wood.
So, everyone has different experiences and it's so hard to explain, and we'll figure out that when we get there. But I definitely do want one more. If it's a boy, I'm done. I'm straight. I'm in the bed next to her getting the snip.
Imagine if you got twins. You popped out
Well,
with twins.
there is twins in my family,
Of course, man, of course.
So potentially there could be.
It's crazy to think like how much life has changed in the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
like who would have thought, like, when we were at Titans, where you would say, okay, I'm going to be engaged, going to get married in, end of the year, I've got a kid, like living in Sydney, like who would have thought?
Honestly,
that's so gnarly.
Honestly. And who would have thought you were starting your own podcast?
Dude, last thing I would have been thinking about. Yeah. Well, I remember when we were at Titans, the media was the last thing I wanted to do. How's your body now? How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
We got obviously had a few injuries along the way, don't get me wrong. Worst being my shoulder.
Yeah.
That is pretty good at the moment.
2023? Oh, no.
It was Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
So, was it Vegas?
24.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah.
So, but body's actually really good at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel fresh.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, training is getting hard.
It really, yeah.
Trying to get out of bed and get up for a preseason big day is very hard, and my body's really good. My mind's good. I feel really good over this preseason. I did my calf in December, but that's fine now. I am having a few issues with my shoulder at the moment.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but very minor, I think.
Yeah.
So trying to get that sorted, but injuries, it is a part of the game, and can't really do anything about it, can you? So it's doing everything possible to, get yourself right physically, mentally, and emotionally for the year ahead. So we're not too far away, and I'm very much looking forward to playing some footy.
I'm keen to get your thoughts on it. Do you reckon because you've got like a really high pain tolerance when it comes to like physical pain, do you reckon you've got a high, I guess, tolerance towards like emotional pain as well? Like I'm thinking like everyday stress. I'm thinking like when we go through hard things. Like, do you think that they're correspondent, or do you think they're just totally separate?
I think I did,
Yeah.
with both those things. But now with my daughter, I'm a big softie.
Yeah.
But then again, you have to be resilient, as you said, to play rugby league, and that physical barrier of the game, that mental barrier of the game, it can be hard. And I reckon my tolerance for pain when I was younger compared to now is a lot different. Back then, mate, you get injuries and then overcome them like that. Now it takes that little bit more longer, that little bit more, stress on the body, and but I'm figuring it out. At some point, I know I'll come good. So I'm not worried about that part. I'll just continue to turn up and enjoy it.
And dude, it's such a roller coaster professional sport.
Honestly,
Mate, and you've been in it long enough to probably been through all the highs and lows of it. I did a podcast in Melbourne last week with a guy called Jeremy Howe. He's from Collywood, been in the game for 16 years, right? Like he's been through it all. And he's like, he said when he had a family, that was probably one of the biggest changes he had, because he put so much pressure on himself to play and to I guess win games of footy and to play really well. But then when he had a family and then they might have lost the game and then he sees Xander or one of his little boys, it's just like, it's like, fuck, what's the point of it all? Like he's like the family and my son and my partner or sons now, but he's like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's like game of footy, just a game of footy, respectfully.
No,
like, he's like, I want to win. He's like, I'm still trying to do my best. But the ability to take that pressure off is gnarly.
100%.
Yeah.
And your daughter, your kids do that.
Yeah.
And your missus as well. But I'm a bit biased, more so my daughter.
Yeah. yeah. Mate, we talk just on the emotional roller coaster of life, professional sport. Has there been any times in the last, I don't know, however long, where you thought you might not have gotten through it because it was so hard, but then did overcome that certain challenge or struggles at all?
I've had my ups and downs, don't get me wrong. I've done some stupid things. I've done some pretty harsh things, and one that I think back is probably the COVID thing. That was pretty ruthless in the sense that I did the wrong thing. Don't get me wrong, but I was absolutely ridiculed, rightly so, and I've taken accountability for that.
That's when you got fined, hey?
Yeah. 35 grand, mind you.
What'd you do? What was the thing that got you?
The dancers in COVID.
Gotcha.
The Origin camp.
Yep.
So that was probably one of the hardest times I've ever been through mentally. Being ridiculed on social media everywhere, and rightly so, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and mope about it or anything like that, but that was hard. But I had a lot of support, which helped me through. It was hard. It was the hardest part, mind you, and I had some cool things as well from it. So what they did was drive me, so I wasn't allowed to fly or whatever. They drove me from May Beach up here to Maroubra in Sydney. They wouldn't let me fly.
Yeah.
So I had to drive 10 hours in the car. Or someone else drove.
Yeah.
And go home in a car from the Gold Coast, Sydney. And then I had to isolate for 2 weeks. But a week in, I got a phone call from the club saying we're heading to the Gold Coast.
For the
hub.
Yeah. Lockdown hub.
Pack your shit, you're flying out tomorrow. And I was like, all right, sweet. No worries. I was like, but I'm in lockdown. Like, yeah. I was like, they're like, I was like, sorry. I said to them, I'm in lockdown. How I can't leave the house. Like, no, you're flying from Bankstown Airport. And I was like, what? I was like, confused. I was like, oh, whatever. They said the NRL's organised for someone to come pick you up and they'll take you there in the morning.
Yeah.
Be ready at 8 or 9 a.m, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, day comes around, the driver gets there, drives me to Bankstown. I get there and I was, Aaron Woods was there.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I was like, bro, what's going on? Like, how are we getting there? Like, where are we flying out from? Anyway, the pilot comes, he goes, all right, boys, you with me? Walk over and look. I'm like, which plane's ours? He goes, that one. Mate, it was a luxury private jet.
it's all that was available, eh?
Yeah, and I was like, you're G'ing up.
Yeah.
I was like, you're dead set G'ing up. He goes, no, put your bags in here. On the jet we went, off to the Gold Coast, sat in the cockpit.
Yeah.
For taking off, going down, and then what they did was drove me to the hotel where the boys are, and what they had crazy to think that there was a whole block of units at the Mercure where we were staying.
I remember this. We were there. We were with Para at the time.
Yeah.
There was the 5 teams.
Yeah, they shut that whole block down and put me in the bottom corner of it, and no one was allowed to come near me.
But you came out on the balcony.
Yeah, I was out on the balcony. Yeah. That was my favourite part of the day, was going out there and seeing all the boys at the gym and the tennis court. Hey, boys, what's going on? Lost the plot when Britney Spears shaved my head.
I was going to bring that up. I was like, you shaved your head completely. Yeah.
So it sent me stir crazy. What else happened? Obviously got ridiculed, which was hard. There was another thing that makes me laugh. So I obviously got a fine from the NRL.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting a knock at the door. And so I had to have one of my trainers drop off dinner and that, and knock on the door. They weren't allowed to come in and whatnot. And I heard a knock at the door. I was like, oh, it must be one of the boys dropping off food or whatever.
Yeah.
the old Jack Milligan. And anyway, knock on the door. I go to the door, open the door, and everyone's gone. Like, no one's there. And there's an envelope. I'm like, what's this? Anyway, pick it up, walk in. I open it. It was a fine from the Queensland government for like $4,000 for what happened.
What?
And I was like, they're kidding themselves. So I tore it up, threw it in the bin. I was like, there's no way I'm paying that. So that was another hilarious thing that happened. But when I look back now, it was dumb. It was stupid, and I'd overcome a bit of adversity in the sense that I was getting absolutely hammered by everyone.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I swear, like, even like being out of it now, I still see like little things pop up, like even the Bulldogs game where you're spraying that guy as well. What even happened there? Because I didn't even know what happened. All I just saw, like, you airing up at this this Bulldog supporter.
Not my proudest moment. And in saying that, like, that's me in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the game, and I'm completely different off the field.
Yeah. But he must have said something.
Oh, he was into me.
Yeah.
He was just into me. He was into like some of the other boys as well. And I remember saying to I remember saying to other staff, mate, can you go and tell that bloke to shut up? Because I'm over it. I've had enough. We're getting beat.
Yeah.
I was upset. I was filthy. And then he was just into everyone. I was like, nah, I've had enough. Turned around and obviously did what I did. And again, not my proudest moment. But in the heat of the moment, heat of the battle, I'm always someone who's very fiery and can be very aggressive. But it was wrong of me to do. And I've said that openly, that I should never have done it. And another one that I look back and I go, why? Like, why did I do that? It was just dumb and not a good look for the game, not a good look for, you know, young kids and things like that. But hopefully I make up with it in other ways. So
it's also really good learning, brother.
It is.
But like I think we got to put ourselves in those positions sometimes to learn from them.
Yeah.
Life
experience.
I remember that in Goldie, like there would be so many times like we just make the wrong call.
Yeah.
Like fucking end up kicking a chair or doing something doing something stupid.
Few chair kicks.
And I'm like, why the hell would you even do that?
It's the heat of the moment, right? You don't know. You don't know until you're in that situation.
Dude, your adrenaline's like through the roof, and then 100%. You make the wrong call, and then afterwards like, oh, okay, well maybe we'll learn from it.
And off topic, mind you, I don't mind this.
A little AG1.
AG1.
Dude, you've been
Thank
smacking
you.
it. Mate,
Grateful.
We've been putting we've got to put all the good stuff back in our bodies, brother.
Yes, we do.
Nah, these things are so good. This is just like every morning. Every morning I'll smash it. It's like they say start the day with it because you want to get all like your like vitamins and minerals in straight away. And then, you know, helps with immunity, mental performance, like all the things, bro.
Well, you got any more cartons? Because I might need them.
I'll give you a whole box.
No,
dude. Before we wrap things up, man. Just want to say thanks so much for not only coming on like the potty now, but just like all your help with Movember or within the disability space. Like I said at the start, like anything that we've done or everything we do, you're straight in there. And dude, I'm very grateful. I know it's been a long time since we've caught up.
Yeah,
but man, I'm so pumped to see you.
Way too long. Nah, I appreciate you, Keegs. Anytime, bro. Love ya. It's good to see ya.
Love you too,
I'm sure I'll see you around.
Cheers, bro.